back to our channel, Star Revelations. I'm Shania, and that's my mom, Shannon. And today this is the fourth video, and it's on some oracle cards from the Twin Flame Journey of Hearts Oracle Cards deck. Cards number, what are we on, 11, 12, 13?
You betcha.
Nice.
11, 12, 13. So our first card is number 11. Expanding is just another way of saying, I love you to the universe. Do you want to grab this one, or you want me to start?
Sure, yeah, no, I love you, universe, and that's like saying I love you to yourself almost as well, right? So
Totally.
Bringing forward all of the good qualities that you have, and you just say, yeah, like, bring it on. I'm excited to be myself. Nothing more exciting than being who you are.
You really and truly are, no doubt. So for me, it's like taking on the expansion, ascension process, and then stepping into who we really and truly are here. And when we do that, we take this all on, and then we become who we've come here to become. And then we learn all that we're here to learn from within this expansion, ascension process, all these tools and avenues and everything. And then we become the teachers of all those others that are not in the knowing of these materials, this true stuff that the divine calls it. This newer, better way of living, of life here, so that we can expand into all that. The whole of the world here can expand into all of that. So that's really saying, I love you to the universe, because we're wanting to, like you said before, come along. Bring everybody along and come along into this expansion, ascension process to then become your best self soul and to be living all of your happily ever afters. So, exactly. Love that card.
Me too. And it goes into the next one as well with the universal understandings, and that's what we're going to talk about even more, is like we're bringing everyone along on the ride of all these universal understandings that are amazing.
Exactly. So universal expansion is just that. Expansion that includes universal understandings, just like Shania was saying, for sure. And so that is exactly you come to these better, deeper understandings, these higher perspectives once you take all of this on, and then you're showing all others then who you really and truly are, your own true self soul, because you've stepped up and into all of that. And so it's really a much higher vibrational level of being, and to expand into all of that. And I'm sure you can vouch for that too, Shania. The positive energy that flows through you and everything that comes forward from within the expansion ascension process, all of the higher senses that come forward are just like not only expansive, but like feel good. Yeah. They feel amazing. Definitely. So anything more to add on that one?
I think maybe just like we were talking earlier about some of the universal understandings that we've come to understand over time, and also like it's not like you just come to one understanding and then you're done maybe with that point. There can always be things that you're going to add on more and more, and you had an experience with that. Do you remember what that was about, if you want to talk about that?
Yes. I was watching, in fact, I wrote down a few. It's funny you bring that up. I wrote down a few. I was watching the Celestian Prophecy last night, and I didn't get to finish it all because it got really late. Of course, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, you need to go to bed.
He's a night owl.
But I was coming to these greater insights, and a lot of these different insights, you come to them and through them along your process. But what you know, like what I knew a year ago for an insight, has expanded into something even more today than it was a year ago. And so as I was even channeling some materials yesterday for the Facebook page, my Facebook pages, I like to call them our Facebook pages, I was bringing forward some messages for the masses, and came to another deeper, greater understanding from within those teachings as well, that I hadn't come to that higher perspective understanding until that point in time, after 17 years of different materials that I've already processed many times. So, it like the divine always says, it becomes more and more and more and more. And that's really the way it is. And so I want to just read, just because I feel like they brought us into this Celestian Prophecy thing here, because I was going to put this paper away, and then I kind of got a message like, no, keep it out. We might be wanting to talk about it. So we're going to be talking about it.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to watch that afterwards. Yes. Because I'm thinking that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in it too, I'm telling you. And so just some of the different insights that I received that resonated, because, you know, some of these insights I have realized over the past 17 years. But like I said, many times they grow and grow and grow into something more expansive. Some of them were, number one, whatever you need will be there whenever it needs to be. Right timing, right place. Number two, clear seeing works when you work it. Clear seeing works when you work it. See it and expect it. Expect to see it, because believing is clear seeing. And Shania has been experiencing some of that, as we talked about in the other videos. Number three, energy vampires are how things or people make us feel. Another thing was things are always happening for a reason. And the last one was connect to our true source, God. I'm sure I'll have much more revelations to come forward as I continue on in the movie. And then I'm going to watch the next one to that. There's another one after that that's sort of on the Celestine Prophecy. Same author, but just a different, and I think, it's What the Bleep Do You Know? What the Bleep Do You Know? That's what it is.
Right.
I wanted to get into that next just to see what that was all about. I've watched it, but it was years ago now. So I want to get it back into that again and see what more is to come forward.
But see, that's kind of the thing too, is like you're watching something again from almost a completely different perspective, because you've changed and expanded and ascended to a certain point that once you're rewatching some of these materials, like even as a channel of 17 years, she's rewatching things and getting new messages. And so I just really wanted to like reiterate that if you're not understanding some of this stuff, like the divine timing for you to understand it is going to come eventually. Like there's a lot of things too where I'll be like, oh, this is over my head, you know, but you just give yourself that time and space to grow and just wait for that point when it is going to make sense and it's going to come together all in divine timing, like we say, or like the divine says. Really, we don't say a lot, like we say some of our opinions and things, of course, but a lot of this is coming from the divine teachings that my mom received. So
100%. It's our experiences, but their teachings and their ways of showing us how to be in the world. Like they always talk about ways of beingnesses. And so really it is, if you don't understand what ways of beingnesses are, you know, they're just the ways that we progress around in the world. They help us to, you know, expand and ascend, but they also help us to maneuver around our lives here as well. So there's just so much to learn. But like what Shania was saying is, it's a process. Always remember that it is a process. And just because you don't understand something right now number one, doesn't mean it's not true. And number two, doesn't mean that you're not going to expand into the knowing of what that means and how to, you know, work with it in your lives, because you will, and you do. Once you take this all on, take your own bull by the horns and take it on and start stepping, because that is when things start to come to you.
Yes,
but not until then.
Subconscious reprogramming thing is like so major for sure. We're coming to realize like how much, like even as kids, I think we get, we are so imaginative and we're so, you know, we have so much connection to the other side. Like, and Florence Scovelshion's audiobook that we were listening to, The Power of Spoken Word, was talking about how kids are like actually can be really amazing manifestors, because they just kind of go to sleep and not worried about, like there was a story about this little boy that wanted a drum set for Christmas, and so he wanted a drum set, he went to sleep, wasn't worried about it, all that stuff. You know, you get up on Christmas morning, you're excited, you're feeling all those feelings of like excitement, enjoyment, all that stuff. Whereas like the adults, we kind of, you know, go to bed and then we stress and then we worry and we bring all that kind of stuff in instead of just like manifesting more like a child. So, you know, the innocence and their imagination and stuff, like we almost like, you know, ruin it for ourselves, because we like take that out of ourselves as we grow up, and that's not what we want to do. We kind of almost want to go back to that inner child place. So maybe that's why I've been getting some messages lately on the inner child thing too.
Yes,
so
for sure, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, you betcha.
Should I read my poem?
Do you want to read it out?
I could. I got my first ever channeled poem. So
yeah, absolutely.
Stay tuned in, because we'll be jumping into part 2 on our next video.